The Temple of the Black Light is among the most controversial and esoteric organizations to emerge from the fringes of modern occultism. Originally formed under the name Misanthropic Luciferian Order, MLO, in Sweden during the early 1990s, the group later rebranded itself as the Temple of the Black Light, reflecting a more refined and cosmically nihilistic philosophy. Far removed from the theatrical Satanism of Anton LaVey or the symbolic rebellion of the Church of Satan, the temple embraces an intensely metaphysical, anti-cosmic worldview that seeks the dissolution of reality itself. Its core doctrines, outlined in texts like Liber Azerate, blend elements of Chaos-Gnosticism, Kabbalah, anti-cosmic Satanism, and death worship, crafting a dark and uncompromising path for its adherents. The roots of the temple are deeply intertwined with a particular strain of occultism that rejects the material world not as something to be enjoyed or ruled, but as a prison to be destroyed. This worldview is often called anti-cosmic, and it represents a stark divergence from mainstream satanic groups that seek to empower the self within the current world order. The Temple of the Black Light teaches that the cosmos was created through an act of rebellion by the demiurge, a false creator god, who separated existence from a primal chaos that once encompassed all. In this metaphysical history, the universe is inherently flawed, ruled by restrictive laws and false light. The temple's goal is to realign with the chaos that preceded creation, to reject the illusion of order, and to hasten the return of the primal void. Central to the temple's teachings is the 11-angled sigil, a symbol of the 11 anti-cosmic deities who oppose the created order. These entities, named in their literature as Azeroth, Thaumiel, and others, are often interpreted as dark reflections or inversions of Kabbalistic archetypes. Azeroth, in particular, functions as the unifying force of chaos, a composite deity representing total opposition to the cosmic order. The temple presents Azeroth not merely as a symbol, but as an actual spiritual presence, one that can be invoked through deep meditative, magical, and ritualistic practices. The temple's doctrine portrays the current world as a manifestation of restriction, where humans are enslaved by false laws, morality, and material illusions. The highest goal is the return to the acausal void, a state beyond existence and non-existence. Unlike more public-facing satanic organizations, the Temple of the Black Light is deliberately secretive and selective in its membership. It considers itself an elite order, calling only the few who can fully grasp and withstand the brutal implications of its philosophy. In its literature, members are referred to as Chaos-Gnostics, seekers of the dark knowledge that lies beyond human perception. The temple's rituals are deeply symbolic and are designed not for theatrical effect, but for spiritual transformation. Rituals that often involve sigil work, blood rites, meditation on anti-cosmic principles, and communion with dark entities. Some rituals symbolically mirror acts of decreation, representing the aspirants' rejection of the illusory world and their alignment with the primordial chaos. A key text within the temple system is Liber Azerate, a 400-plus page manifesto written by the mysterious individual known as Frater Namidial. This dense tome serves as the temple's metaphysical, magical, and philosophical foundation. It outlines the dualism between cosmic and acausal forces, presents the pantheon of anti-cosmic gods, and explains the path of spiritual liberation through destruction. Written in a hybrid of modern occult terminology and invented mythology, the book has gained notoriety not only for its radical content, but also for its influence on certain segments of underground culture. In addition to spiritual theory, Liber Azerate provides instructions for rituals, meditations, and magical workings intended to collapse the barriers between the self and the anti-cosmic current. The Temple of the Black Light does not believe in good or evil in the traditional moral sense. Rather, it views these concepts as tools of cosmic enslavement, false dichotomies created by the demiurge to keep sentient beings docile and confined. In the temple's view, morality itself is a prison, and only through the transcendence of duality can one attain true freedom. This rejection of conventional morality has led to controversy, with critics accusing the temple of promoting dangerous, even nihilistic ideologies. However, from the temple's internal perspective, such accusations are themselves products of the false cosmic order and therefore irrelevant to the true seeker. Though it originated in Sweden, the Temple of the Black Light has gained international followers, partly due to the spread of its texts online and partly through its influence on certain branches of extreme metal culture. Bands like Dissection, Funeral Mist, and Ofermod have openly embraced aspects of the temple's philosophy, helping to popularize terms like Chaos-Gnosis and anti-cosmic Satanism among niche audiences. The late John Nutveit, frontman of Dissection, was a member of the MLO and reportedly took his own life as a ritualistic act aligned with the temple's teachings. His death, while tragic, has been interpreted by some followers as a form of ultimate liberation, a rejection of cosmic bondage in favor of eternal chaos. The temple often contrasts itself with what it deems pseudo-Satanism, groups that embrace Satan as a symbolic figure of rebellion or individualism without acknowledging the deeper metaphysical war between order and chaos. In temple doctrine, Lucifer, Satan, and other dark deities are not merely archetypes of self-liberation, but are living manifestations of the anti-cosmic current. This sets the temple apart not only from atheistic Satanism, but also from theistic Luciferian paths that still accept the legitimacy of the created universe. For the temple, real liberation can only come through the complete annihilation of the cosmic order, a view that places it closer to radical Gnosticism than to traditional Satanism. One of the most profound and disturbing aspects of the temple's belief system is its embrace of death as a sacrament. In temple thought, death is not to be feared but welcomed as a return to the original state of chaos. This is not a simple romanticization of death, but a deeply philosophical stance that views death as a liberation from illusion. However, this perspective has drawn understandable concern, especially when it intersects with individuals struggling with mental health. While the temple does not officially advocate for violence or self-harm, its literature has been associated with tragic incidents, particularly when interpreted by unstable individuals. This has only deepened the mystery and controversy surrounding the group. The Temple of the Black Light also engages in magical practices that seek to open gateways between the physical world and the acausal realm. This includes advanced techniques of Q-lithothic magic, drawing from the shadow side of the Kabbalistic tree of life. In the temple's view, the Q-lithoth, the realms of chaos, death, and decay, are not hellish punishments but sacred paths to ultimate freedom. The adept who traverses these realms gains direct knowledge of the void and may eventually merge with Azerati itself. The path is considered dangerous, not just spiritually but psychologically, as it demands the deconstruction of the ego and the abandonment of all societal and cosmic norms. Despite its extreme nature, or perhaps because of it, the temple has gained a unique position within modern occult circles. Some view it as a legitimate spiritual path for those brave enough to walk the edge of existence. Others dismiss it as nihilistic and dangerous. Yet few can deny the intellectual depth and mythological complexity of its system. Its texts are rich in symbolism, drawing from ancient myth, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, and chaos magic, weaving them into a coherent but radically dark spiritual system. In a world increasingly obsessed with light, affirmation, and manifestation, the temple offers the inverse: darkness, negation, and dissolution. The Temple of the Black Light is more than a satanic group. It is a metaphysical rebellion against the fabric of reality itself. It calls not for empowerment within the current system, but for the destruction of that system from the ground up. For its adherents, The temple offers a path of ultimate truth, however terrifying or isolating that truth may be. It is a path not of comfort, but of confrontation with the self, with reality, and with the primordial chaos from which all things arose. As the world continues to evolve spiritually, technologically, and ideologically, fringe movements like the Temple of the Black Light serve as stark reminders of the diversity and extremity of human belief. In the shadows of organized religion, beyond the boundaries of conventional thought, there exists a place where some choose not to worship the Creator, but to invoke the Destroyer, not to find salvation in light, but liberation in darkness. Whether one sees them as visionaries, extremists, or mystics lost to madness, the Temple of the Black Light remains one of the most intense and enigmatic currents within the modern occult landscape.